It's been a great year. So we have been in Casa da Música, we have been in the Matosinhos Theater, we also have been in a medieval fair. That was a crazy one. We talk about sound engineering, we talk about UX UI, and we talk about game developing. And today we're going to take a step back. So we don't want to be so technical. We want to talk about what we are, a community. But before going deep into that, I want to pass the word to the Matosinhos Hall. I don't know how to say this in English. City Councilor.
Which is Marta, by the way. But I think everybody knows me because I've been in all of that, I think, experiences because they have been quite an experience for all of us. Welcome to Matosinhos. For those who follow us in the past events, welcome again. Today, this place is not so crazy and improbable like Feira Medieval, but wait for 2025. Nelson and Matosinhos.Tech will discover some of the most mysterious places that we have over here in Matosinhos, which some of them we actually never thought about it. So it's an exercise also for us to create community, to create creativity, energy, and to share. I think this is one of the forums, one of the meetings that are really based on sharing. It's a community. I feel and know many of you, and I know you are coming over here to learn, to share, to meet, to embrace each other and Matosinhos community. And it is quite an honor for me to follow this pathway that we have been doing, and it is really exciting to see how small things can become medium, can become big, can become whatever we want. And for that, I want to thank you first to Matosinhos.Tech, then to all the partners that we see over here and that honor us. Maybe in the first time we never thought about having these partners over here. So welcome you all. It is a pleasure for me to see that at least 50% are women. It happens in the technology area, but also in the political area. We never are 50%. Usually we are one, and then we have a table of men deciding. So it is very important for me, not only here, but also over here. It is very important. I'm also city councilor of the firefighters, which has nothing to do with this subject, but it is also one of my goals um, to have women that risk, that come, that appear, that talk, that show their experience, and that they believe that they can be here deciding in the place of the president. This is the room where we do all our executive reunions. Here we decide the budget, the laws, the every issues that you see in Matosinhos are decided over here. This is for the executive part. Over there is the deputy part where you all are. And in the top, it's the public part. So it is open. From here, you can see outside. Everyone from outside can also see what we are doing here, what it is decided. So it is based on this, on being transparent. Yes, being transparent. Watch each other, watch the community, share outside, upstairs, over here, and I think it is what will happen here today. So the floor is not mine, if is yours, and the Matosinhos floor is at least 4 times a year, right? It's from to Matosinhos.Tech to shine and to bring all these fantastic people that are coming discussing this. Thank you very much and have a nice work.
Thank you, Marta. And without further ado, let me introduce Matilde Barroso. She'll be our moderator for today. She has a vast experience. She went through marketing director, brand management, project management, and currently she's a experience curator, which I have to say is a very fancy name for a job title. And she focuses on creating the best overall experiences for their guests since she works in the hospitality sector. And she has a trait that she shares with Matosinhos.Tech, which is a curious mindset. So, without nothing else to say, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I will try and appropriate those because I really liked it. But I would like to start kicking off this conversation by sharing a thought that I have and something that I try to bring to work every day, which is how can I impact my community today when I start my day at work? So my community is the people I work with, the people I bring together, clients and the teams I foster and empower with knowledge and sharing experiences as well. So I would like to ask all of you, what is the purpose of your community? Do you have this kind of mindset that was like the kickoff and starting point of your community and that makes them relevant today? So I don't know who wants to start. This is another way of explaining what you are about, kind of thing. Absolutely. Good one.
Let me first handle the technology here. I'm representing today Geek Girls Portugal. Our mission is based on empowering women in tech. So our day to day is basically to do and plan and act on bringing more women to tech, but also support and mentor women in tech. Also support the ones that are in tech already and the ones that are changing their career journey and want to embrace tech and how to start. So a lot of our work is in mentorship, and a lot of our work is also in bringing together industry, showing to companies that there are women in tech. And so it's not showcasing talent, but it's really bringing talent, bringing women and companies together. So on that side, we do a lot of meetups and workshops where knowledge is shared, but also career opportunities are shared. So and also companies can actually see that there is talent in feminine talent in sex as well.
What about to follow the line?
Okay, thank you. Everybody has one button. I have two buttons here. So I'm in a bit more difficult situation. So I represent ladies at UX here, and our mission is actually very close to what Vanya has just mentioned, but we do all the same kind of work, but in the field of UX, your user experience. And for those of you who don't know this community, it was born originally probably back in 2013 in Manchester as a small meetup by two female designers who realized that there was no space. They didn't see many women in tech at the time, something that I'm hoping is changing since, but at the time they didn't see many role models, and they wanted to create the space for safe knowledge exchange and inspiration for women working in the field of UX. And since then, basically 11 years down the road, if my map is correct, we are now a global movement with probably around 90 chapters globally. And just in Europe, there are probably close to 30. And in Portugal, we are in Lisbon and in Porto. And the Porto community was born also not so long ago, just a couple of days, a couple of years ago, back in 2022, with the same mission to create a safe space for women working in the field of UX and in different working or trying to get into this field, to talk to each other, to ask questions, to share knowledge, share experiences, to inspire each other, to grow together. And since then, this has been our mission. Basically, we try to provide with all the activities that we do, we try to provide the safe space for everyone, for all women interested in the field of UX to contribute.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Ricardo. I'm here to represent DevOps Porto. For those of you who don't work in tech, so DevOps is a movement that was coined 15 years ago. This year marks the 15th anniversary in Ghent, Belgium. And it was a movement that aimed at bringing together different teams within technology. So it was this idea that 20, 25 years ago, you had different engineering teams within a company, and each did their part, but they did not cooperate together, right? Developer developed code, throw it over the wall to some kind of team runs it in production, then comes security, needs to make it all secure, and the DevOps movement, the idea is precisely that. It's to bring all of these people together, have common objectives, and we all should all work for the same goals. And DevOps Portal is a meetup that we do regularly, every single month, where we bring people from different areas within technology to share experiences, share ideas, and some of the elements of the DevOps Portal and DevOps Lisbon have also started to do some conferences like DevOps Days Portugal, which is the Portuguese chapter of the original DevOps Days conference that was in Ghent. And we also organize KCD Portugal, which is a called Native Foundation Conference.
Hi. Okay, it's working. Hi. So first of all, I want to congratulate Matosinhos.Tech for this event. It's really cool for Nelson to invite us, Portuguese meaning, and the CTO to let Matosinhos.Tech to do this event here. Is really cool when the public departments create boundaries, but not boundaries, breaches actually. Sorry, I'm with jet lag. Bridges with these kind of movements because they really need support, and that's how these communities grow. Speaking of that, and also congratulate my my panel team colleagues because they do an awesome work in the ecosystem here in Porto, volunteer, which is really cool because we all are aiming to develop the place where we are, like Matosinhos.Tech. So a clap of hands, please. For them. They deserve it. So at Portuguese Hub, and actually I'm also a founder of a community called the People for People. I also want to bring that here. At People for People, from 6 years, we create events where we talk about things that human resources would like to talk, like, I don't know, salaries, increasing layoffs, recruitment process, this kind of stuff. You are all invited to come to our next meeting. Meetup will be on 14th of December. Also, and our goal there was always to bring these kind of subjects and have a safe place where people could speak about that, like the turnover rate of each company, for example, how we measure it, and these complicated subjects that no one wants to speak openly. At Portuguese Hub, we started almost 10 years ago, like Matosinhos.Tech, and well, nowadays and forever will be our goal to dynamize, evolve the ecosystem in Porto. We started almost 10 years ago with 3 companies that were the founders, and nowadays we are more than 40. And our goal is always to bring knowledge, to bring more people to the city, to contribute and share more knowledge regarding technology and new aspects and new trends as well. We will have our conference at 27th of November. We are expecting more than 1,400 people. We will have 5 talks at the same time. targeting the developers, DevOps as well, UX, UIs, and gay girls. So, mostly is all about this that Portecad is doing. And also we try to help and connect with the communities. DevOps, Porto, and Geeks Girls are part of our marketplace. Our goal there is to bring, let's say, spaces for them to create the meetings and some coffee breaks sometimes. And we will have now ambassador that will have that will work as a consultant for this kind of communities, because sometimes it's really hard to manage all the community. For example, during the COVID-19, I guess I know that we all had a huge problem with passing from the physical place that was such a safe place to a more technological one. So we'll have one person to guide these communities to get in place.
Cool. Thank you. You all touched upon the idea of safe space, of all your communities being the safe space for sharing, for knowledge sharing, and so on. So I would be interested to understand better, what exactly do you do, each of you, differently, I would say as well, to contribute to the individual development of each of the members that you gather together? So what kind of activities, what kind of individual programs and plans, mentorships, and so on, because although you're a community, each of the talents that you gather have different needs, doubts, and how do you help them out? If we can start with you, Ricardo, this time.
Sure. We run a pretty regular meetup in terms of we bring speakers to present some topic. One thing that we usually do on our meetups, and we do in the conferences as well, is the concept of open space. And those open spaces are topics that people can bring to the discussion. So we have a separate space. People can just post something on a board. It could be something that I'm struggling with at work, something that I need an opinion, something like that. Then if there are too many of them, we will vote and we will have those discussions. And the idea, it is a safe space. There are no stupid questions. There are no stupid ideas. It's like, I'm having this problem at work. Has someone had this problem as well? Can you help me out, right? Or I have this idea. What do you guys think? Should I go right? Should I go left? And so we promote a lot of these discussions around those ideas of open spaces, and just whatever you had in mind, just bring it. If we can help, we help. If we can share idea, we will do it.
Cool. One question on top of that one is, do you think that your community, specifically because of the format you were explaining, don't they feel they have the colleagues in their workspace where they can do exactly the same?
Yeah.
They need to go outside to another community to do that?
Yeah, so it depends on the organization. So some organizations are more open, so they foster this kind of communication. Others not so much, right?
Right.
So, and the whole DevOps movement is around that. Is that we should all be rowing the same direction. So, and some people just reach out to the community and say, guys, I needed help. We also do that on slides, so people can just go there and ask questions. So I'm struggling with this problem. Does anyone have a before, or I'm trying to hire? Can you guys help me out? So it depends a lot on the organization.
Cool. Case. What about you, Anna?
We are currently a group of probably about, over 200 members, and something that started with just a few kind of smaller meetups a couple of years ago has obviously grown since, and we have expanded the range of different activities. All of the activities are around the field of user experience. It's not only user experience topics, basically. It could be any kind of professional topics, because our community is quite diverse. We have designers, we have researchers, we have people who are just interested into getting into the field of UX, where we welcome everyone. And since basically we started to grow our network, and we have a few partners supporting us, we started providing a range of different activities. And I have here a little list so that I don't forget any important activity. So please excuse me if I look at my notes sometimes. So what we try to do is we try to provide the space for women to learn. So we have partnered with different educational initiatives where we can provide either 100% scholarships on certain programs or discounts on other programs. So this is something that the collaboration with the training institutions helped us do. We also organize regular talks and meetups, basically based on the needs of the community. We try to do more in-person events, but we're currently looking for a space to host, and I was very happy to meet Luis today. Yes, and to learn about that. So not all of our members are based in Porto. We have people coming actually from all the way from close to Aveiro today, and some people are from Braga. So we kind of not all of our events are in person because of that. Also, that we can be a bit more inclusive. We also hold regular portfolio review sessions for any one of you who is in the field of UX. Maybe portfolio is something that, well, we usually struggle with those for whichever reason. So we provide some help in that. We have some other initiatives like a book club and a recent Girls Talk initiative where we it's an English-speaking activity or event where we bring different speakers, and we actually brought Ana Rita here from Matosinhos.Tech to one of our events, which was absolutely lovely. Yeah, and so basically we're providing all sorts of support to women to improve their skills, to improve their confidence, to improve their professional skills. And we're staying quite flexible with the demands of the community. In that respect, we're listening to feedback and we're understanding, what are the ways that we can improve, what other offerings we can provide. And we're constantly looking for new partnerships, whether it be local businesses or educational initiatives to provide more value to our community.
What about you, Vanya? What you can say about how your community really contributes to the individual?
So I started this community in 2010. So for the past 14 years, we've gathered about 2,000 women in our community. Spread all over the country. We have a mailing list and a Slack chat, which is really restricted to women so that we are sure that is a safe space for discussions, for asking questions, for asking for suggestions to improve my CV, for instance. So all sorts of things where we share not only questions, suggestions, ask for help, but also we are connected to a number of companies and other initiatives. So whenever there's a conference happening, we reach out and ask, do you have tickets you can offer us for KCD, for Porto Tech Hub or discounts, so that we are able to give opportunities for women to join. Because it's not always possible to have your company sponsoring a conference. You going to a conference is not always possible to sometimes take a day off to go to a conference. So we know a lot of women have to take days off and say to their boss, I'm going to a conference, but you're not sponsoring it. And I got the ticket for free there, right? So we also are connected to a number of how I don't know how's that called, reconversion schools. So a number of schools and that promote boot camps and courses that enable people to move from one career to another in tech. So specifically, I don't know, DevOps, UX, data science, front-end programming, back-end. So there are a number of, if I can promote, there's Luwagan, There's Escola 42. There's even Mindera School, so companies that also are involved in the switch program from Porto Tech of, I have to mention. So we always try to connect also with these companies that are promoting those programs and try to get discounts or be part of their scholarship program and like have a dedicated number of spots that are for women, like scholarship spots that are also for women, so that we can disseminate those opportunities in our community to be able to also give opportunities and give at a special rate opportunities for women. Beyond that, we do in our mentorship program, we also have a mentorship program. It's a 4-month structured program where we connect a mentor and a mentee in a very specific technical area, either UX, data science, quality assurance, front end, back end. So we really match a mentee and a mentor in a specific area that they connect for 4 months, build a plan of development, what they want to achieve at the end. We know that sometimes 4 months is not enough, but it's a fast track on having someone dedicated to helping you and empower you and guide you. We along the program, we also try to bring in other women to inspire and to help in areas like what is the recruitment process in tech? How do I build my CV? How do I prepare for interviews? How do I prepare for technical interviews, which are different from the others? How do I empower my LinkedIn profile? All sorts of workshops we organize along these 4 months together with the sessions between mentor mentee. We also provide these workshops all along the 4 months. So the program itself has been very successful in creating a safe space for empowering, for inspiring, for growing. And with a lot of very successful cases of women landing their first job in tech, women that have been nurses, doctors, teachers, and have been being able to land their first job in tech. They have done a boot camp, but then they were like completely lost on how do I write my CV for tech? How do I apply for a position in the front end developer, the front end developer? So all the process of like even having someone that didn't had the same journey is really important, and we have been able to match a mentor that has been through a similar process of switching careers with a mentee that is just starting to do that. So this is really super powerful because you really feel like this person has done it, so I will be able to do it, right? All the confidence gap there is normally bridged because I'm dealing with a person that is in tech now, which 5 years ago was also lost as I was, and was able to do this. So and those examples are super inspiring and super rewarding as well. And in the end, it's what makes me continue to do all this work for free, volunteer, on a volunteer basis, with really no money involved, just the emotional reward.
Brilliant. Very beautiful. What about you, Luis? Tell me about Protect Hub.
So, at People for People,
And as well, if you want to cross both, all the pani.
no, at People for People, during this year we create some events in order to try to pass to the participants through some speakers and some workshops how to live better in this, can I say crazy world nowadays, and complex. So we started with this subject in January, and we will end in December, trying to make a retrospective and how the participants went, if it was good, the information that they got, and the skills that they acquire. We hope so, at least. We also have a mentorship program. It's the first year that we created this mentorship program. So it was targeting people that wanted to have a better life, let's say, or do another career path. Not so much in tech, but generally speaking. So we try to match the mentors and the mentees in order of their skills and their desires. And we will finish now, and we have 30 participants with 30 mentors. It was really cool for us, and for them, I hope for the mentees the feedback is good, because the mentors were really, really compromised, and they really try to engage with the mentees in such a more personal way than just a normal program, and it was for free, which is cool. So at Portacav, what we are doing now, we are investing a lot in the education field, because we believe that's the most important thing regarding in trying to evolve the ecosystem with the people that are already here. We last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly, 2 years ago, we created the first post graduation in Portugal with the Porto Engineer Institute, which is our stakeholder regarding education, with a partnership that was made almost 9 years ago. We created more switches, because in the beginning it was only Switch Dev targeting programmers, and nowadays we have Switch Q&A, which is already going on the second edition, and is going really well. And we also opened more to post graduations. The last one started 22 of October. It was starting big data, and it was the participants were only allowed, let's say, to pay 50% of the post graduation, because we were sponsored by Santander, which was really great. For the first time we had money coming. It's always good, because we are a volunteer and non-profit association. So it's really cool when we get this kind of support. That's how we think that we are evolving the ecosystem, and specifically trying to evolve the people that are here in the community. Not only Porto, because the name is kind of tricky, yes, because we have companies from Aveiro, Braga, but yeah, that's our main goal.
Yeah. You talked a lot about like all the mentorship and like fostering the talents individually and collectively. And my next question would be, how does the other side of the spectrum take you in as communities? So how do companies react to you throughout your history, as communities? Certainly you had a lot of, shifts, and it's been a process for sure. But how does the industry, how does the employment side of things accept the fact that you are bringing in talent, showcasing, promoting? I imagine for the girls group is always like a big deal, or more than for the men in this ecosystem. But how acceptant are companies towards your work and the things you want to do together by bridging the two, talents and workforce, basically? Who would like to start? Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is a trick question, right? So how the companies perceive us. Well, I will be honest on this, I guess. So for one side, the companies really want the meetups and the communities to go to the companies and help the events there, because they get to know more talents in another way that is not from recruitment and for their own events. So the companies really like this kind of events. They receive very well. That's why Portec has no problems in connecting communities to companies to have their events there. For on the other side, I don't know about my colleagues will say, but I don't think it's so much value as it could be. Meaning that okay, we have a community, we do this kind of volunteer work, but in the end, it's not really perceived as a value to the company, at least where we are working, or where we'll be holding the events. This is my totally honest perception. It might be regarding the mentorship program, for example, People for People. I don't think it will gather so much attention from the companies, because it's volunteer, and the companies usually gives more attention to things that's where they spend money and they had to put some budget. So if it's volunteer and it's for free, I guess no one will. I mean, no, at least a lot of companies won't to give so much value to a mentorship program done by people for people, while if it was done by a consultant company, very renowned, it will give a lot of attention. This is my perception, and I work in human resources, so kind of tricky.
I have a different perception. Regarding the mentorship program, it's actually been very cool getting companies getting in touch and asking how we run it, trying to adopt it internally, but also promoting our program internally. So we had NOS, we had Critical Tech Works, we had Critical Software. We have a number of companies. Every time we open another edition, they disseminate our program inside the company and try to promote as much as possible so that we get mentors from their company in our program. Because it's also a way of, people that work there get to know more women that they, in the future, they can recruit to their own company. So they have been perceiving it like that, I think. But for us, it's also a great way to not even recruit mentors in those companies, but we have been recruiting also mentees recruiting mentees in those companies. It hasn't been like, okay, it's free, it doesn't matter. It's actually been, they follow up and ask us, because not all mentors that register, then they get selected, right? Because we do match depending on the technical skills. So a number of mentors are not selected in each edition, but these companies do follow up and ask us who got selected, because they want to know, and they want that person also to share the experience in the workplace. So I think it has been very valuable also, that connection with the companies. From my experience, when I started this in 2010, I really had to pitch a lot to each company and say, I'm doing this, it's valuable, it's a networking experience, it's really connecting people, it's really empowering women, it's really bringing some sense of community. And people were like, community, networking, really? Does that really matter? In 2010, no one really cared about networking, right? I felt a number of times like an alien pitching, like this is important. Nowadays, it's actually the opposite. We normally, like, we run and have ambassadors and run meetups in 6 cities in Portugal. So Braga, Porto, Aveiro, Coimbra, Lisboa, Faro. And we don't do a lot of effort in finding companies. So almost every week I have like 5 emails from companies asking, how do you work? How can we get a meetup in our office? Because it's been more on the radar, the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. So a number of companies, and also because the ecosystem is changing and we have a lot more international companies in Portugal, the DEI is on the strategy. It's on their work plan every year, and showing that they embrace diversity, showing that the numbers are growing, it's really important. So finding a place, finding a way to disseminate their own company and try to find more talents and more feminine talent is usually a goal in their work plan. So now it's like easy because we always do our meetups in companies. We never do anywhere else. So the value here is to connect the company, recruiters, and women, and lower the barriers for women in finding new job opportunities. So the experience for me has been really completely transcendent in the way we work, in the sense of like we do very little effort these days in convincing companies to host us.
And to acknowledge also the community and the talent you're bringing in, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think
At the end of the day, you're narrowing the gap of them finding out about the talent that exists and is there out in the market looking for opportunities. What about you, Anna, with the ladies at UX? Do you usually host your events and networking meetups at companies?
No, we don't. Yeah, this is why, I was looking for some support, from people, because we're all volunteers, and we have all of us have different. We're 14 volunteers right now, and we have different um, kind of areas of impact, and there are other volunteers who are more in touch with different companies, but we don't really host events. We're looking for places that could host us, like we're hosting some. What we usually host our events in something in places that are more intimate, like coffee shops, or we go outdoors, or we would like to have more, as I mentioned, more in-person events in dedicated spaces, and we're looking for those spaces. But I personally don't see any reason for any company to react negatively to something like that. And again, it's not something that have experienced, personally, or maybe that would be a question for my colleagues who've been also with the ladies at UX longer. But we work developing talent, right? We do a lot of heavy lifting, and provide this space for women to share experiences, and learn. And I don't see why any company would really oppose that in any way. I feel like by making women better professionals, by making them more confident in their skills, the tech scene in Porto can only thrive, and as a company, I would just applaud any initiative like that, or the initiative that Rania has described as well.
Yeah, so for in our reality, most companies are interested in receiving DevOps support for Meetup because they see it as a recruitment event. That's the reality for most time. Although some look at it as a learning experience, their engineers can be part of it, can learn something. The reality is that they look at it as a recruitment. So they give the opportunity to show the office, to see what's so. Most companies also want like 1 or 2 minutes to pitch what you do here, what's and what that you could be doing. So we, to be honest, we don't have a lot of problems finding hope because most companies are still hiring, although they are hiring less. And then we're seeing less companies being more open for the meetups, but they still have a lot of companies that want us there.
Cool. And now jumping onto the talent side of things, obviously you have constantly new people coming in and knocking on your doors, asking for help, and so on. How do you see this new talents or younger generation of talents? How do you struggle motivating them? And what are the biggest challenges in motivating younger generations in the areas that you work in? Yeah, sure.
I can start this one. So I think that we're seeing a shift from people that started in technology 25, 30 years ago, from younger generations that started 5, 6, and 8 years ago. So we used to call the geeks, right? So the ones that were like really interested, needed to understand like how things really worked. I think now with the technology being more everywhere, we're seeing more people think it as a job, and there's nothing wrong with it. But the level of desk, for example, in Meetup, if we go too deep into a topic, for some people they'll be like, "Oh, this is too much. Yeah, this I don't really care that much about this topic." So meetups need to be catered for probably both of these audience. So there will be some topics that will need to be super deep, and other will be more healthy, more or on a high level or medium level. Let's put it this way. So because we're seeing a lot of more younger generations being like, okay, I want to put stuff up there, but I don't really want to go so deep into that thing. I just want to jump to the next thing and then necessarily.
Yeah, very interesting. I think this is completely like a transversal kind of attitude across talents. And that's why I wanted to pose this question. How do you feel, Anna, about the whole UX? Well,
Yes. So we have a mix of different ages in our community. We don't really ask actively, for their age, and speaking of the, I guess, let me see. Yeah, I was a little thrown away by this question because I was thinking that we don't currently engage really actively with the younger communities. I know that this is something that we're planning to do and we would hope to do. But as of currently, the women who join us are the ones who are either doing or probably either working or already holding some kind of degree and moving into the field of UX or studying in the field of UX. And the way we motivate them, I guess, is just organically by providing space. Like, for example, within the Girls Talk sessions, we invite people from women from different spheres of tech to be our guests, and by inviting our community members who can ask questions to those women who are at different stages of their experience. We kind of organically try to inspire each other, and by creating those events and meetups, yes, I guess it all just has been working really organically for us. But ultimately, we would like to, in the future, also promote the field of UX to younger generations.
Okay, so regarding the young generations, my personal perception is that I wish I was like them because they are really fierce. That's how I see them. When I entered work world, I was really afraid of speaking up or to change jobs so easily, and I admire them in some ways because they are not really afraid, and that's the consequence of being in a global world and being in a Portugal that is full of tourists nowadays, and we have more investment, we have more companies, we have more possibilities to change a career and to earn more money, because in the end that's what we all think about when we receive the paycheck, right? So regarding that, I don't see that as an issue. We don't have that issue at Porteca with our communities, with our students. They are all from different ages. At People for People, we receive a lot of participants really young. They want to learn. They really are eager to develop themselves in the better way. That at least from when I look back at myself when I was younger, I'm still younger. I wish I had that mindset at least, because they really are looking ahead of their lives, and that's really cool. We are at the companies, at least, we are always complaining about the new generations, but in the end, like, oh my God, they want this more, they want more this. But that's how people should be treated in the end, right? Most of them are asking what we should be asking when we at that age. So we all also have to adapt ourselves, because our work culture in Portugal was really non kind of afraid of speaking up to their bosses, to the company, to give feedback. We don't have a cultural feedback organization culture in Portugal, and I think everyone agrees with me here. So whenever we criticize young generations for asking that or that, uh, remember yourselves that they want more of life, like we all want, but they speak it up, and it's really cool. Just a thing, I don't believe in motivation in that sense. I think people should go, and I think young generations know this. They want to go to a place that they will like, to a job that they will like. And for that, they will be organically motivated. They don't need anyone or the company itself to create a program of motivation in order to give them skills to feel more motivated at the end of the day. We all want to have nice works, nice colleagues, nice bosses, some flexibility, because our traffic is getting insane in Portugal. In Porto, I don't know about Matosinhos. I don't want to talk about that here. But this word of motivation has been used to masquerade some things that the companies should be more able to do. Okay, and for that, I don't really believe in the motivation word as is being used nowadays, as the companies or a boss should motivate people to work and to give their best. I go to work to give my best. If I don't like, I will change. And young generations know that really well. If they don't like, they will change, and that's how life should be.
Yeah, my experience has been more in motivating um, girls,
We need motivation. We don't have money.
girls and teens to embrace a career in tech, or at least to show them the potential of having a career in tech. Um, I don't have a lot of experience for the past 4 years on that, but we used to go a lot to schools and just present what we're doing, like present how like we were 17, we went to university in this field, we graduated, then we took a job on this and then a job on that, showing that there are a lot of areas in technology, right? And that technology is not about only games, it's not only about social networks, but there are a lot of different profiles. You can like I think my most funny experience was like I was speaking to a group of 15, 17-year-old doing a tech professional course on multimedia, and they were like, why are you here? And I was like, like multimedia technology. And they were like, no, we're just going to take photos and make videos. And like, that's all about technology, right? And they were like, no. I was like, yes, like this is all digital, right? So making like the connection between uh, even multimedia is technology. All that is digital nowadays is technology. And talking to these teens and explaining them that there's a whole lot of potential in your future in technology, but also it is okay now, like to graduate in multimedia, and then when you're 20, you don't like making videos anymore, and you can just like embrace, I don't know, project management in tech, or, it's just actually like to draw buttons in the screen, and that's also fine, right? So you can, in this field, you can follow a course either online, either in person for 6 months and be able to embrace a whole different area and have a whole different career track suddenly, right? Um, we did work a lot with governmental strategy that used to exist specifically for girls and going to schools. And yeah, we talked to girls and boys, but the whole idea was really to deconstruct and show that there's a lot of potential even for girls in tech. Um, I don't know if we succeeded, but we do see a lot more girls. Like I was sharing that when I graduated, we were just 2 out of 50. And now it's like 10 out of 200, but still. um, uh, what I also see, and I really congratulate all these women, is like they did a choice, right? They graduated in sociology, they graduated in any social area, and then they were not happy. They were not like, this is not me, and they looked for other opportunities, and are being able to look for other opportunities. And it's fine when they're in their 20s, when they're in their 30s. And then I also hear people in their 40s saying, I may be too old, I don't know what I'm doing here. And you're like, no, it's like nowadays building a new career, never too old to build a new career, right? And especially in technology, really there are a lot of different areas you can embrace. So I would wish that we would be able to convince, not motivate, convince more girls to embrace courses more, in like early on courses in tech. I know there's a hype on robotics, there's a hype on AI, but there's a lot more in tech. So hopefully the future looks brighter.
Um,
It's really hard. I mean, the recruitment process has been changing a lot. There are a number of companies. There's not a lot of people, right, to work in these areas, but it's still not okay. Even if the recruiting process has been changing so much, it's still not okay to apply, send CVs, send 200 CVs and get one reply, even if it's a no. Like they're not. This needs to change from the companies. Like companies need to do better in engaging talent, because for me it's always a red flag. I send a CV, I don't even get a no. I don't, even if it's after 3 months. Really, like, how do they value people, right? And companies need to do better, especially in tech. I feel like there's such a huge demand, right, for talent, and barely there's no talent. It's really hard to hire, and so this should not happen at all. Um, no, I think it's general. Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh, would there be anything you would change in the tech industry? Anything else? I'm nodding, so I think you agree with with Vanny as well.
Yes, totally. Totally. I know Vanya's worked for a long time, and I totally agree. Whatever she will say, I will agree and sign on.
Please sign on.
Yeah. Well, there's a factor. I won't call it a issue, but I would like to this factor, this dimension to get better, which is a thing that I've been observing for well, last 9 years. Let's say that I'm more in the ecosystem. That is the I won't say discrimination. I will say different eyes when someone that is not considered young apply to communities or companies. I think we all want to be cool and have apples and coffee and some games for free, and then we have a young generation that has more scale and numbers going to the company. So it's pretty normal that when you enter to a company, you will see a lot of young people. But in the end, for I will say the same for the young generation and for the older ones. Age is just a number. At Switch qualification program, there, for example, we have a lot of people that decided to go and change their career at 40 years old. And I think the companies struggle to look at this, not in this specific case because we don't have this kind of issue in Switch, but generally speaking, in recruitment process, we tend not to understand if older people will suit this kind of environment that we try to create in the companies. And for me, it's very scary because I'm getting old and I think about that sometimes. And of course, for the other people, because uh, this different generation brings a lot of value to the companies because they have another experience of life. They experience other things, even though if they are not originally from tech, they will come with another perspective of the problems, and that's really important because the world is so complex. So why not have the same eyes in the recruitment process that we have for young generations, and also for a little bit more old generation?
Sure. This makes sense. So, Dade, what about you?
Yeah, so I would second what Van said. No, I do think recruitment is a big problem in our industry. So on top of what Tony just said, so there's a lot of opaqueness in the whole process, and it's sometimes hard when even when you get an S and you go in, an yes and you go to the coupon process. Like how many stages will be there? Do I need to take a home assignment? Will be a technical interview. So if you're working and you don't like your environment and you're applying for 2 or 3 companies, and then okay, nice, I got 3 yeses. Now I have 3 assignments to take home, and then I have to do a technical interview with 2 or 3 technical interviews, and then there's no there's no transparency in terms of salary. So you could be spending a lot of time working for free. Some companies force you to work for them, and then at the end they either don't say you anything, like not even a no, or they'll give you like a lowball offer. So I do think there's a lot of improvement that is only implemented in this part.
And is this a general thing across borders, or is this particularly with Portuguese companies? No, it's
Across the board. Yeah.
so
So you will hear this about US.
you were also
Yeah.
on. Yeah, crazy. Basie, do you want to add anything on it?
Yeah, I guess while we started with the recruitment process, let me just like go at it as well. Well,
A safe space.
yes. Well, absolutely. And I follow some recruiters, as probably many of us do, and it's difficult for them as well. It's not they're also kind of do what they do not just to be mean, but that's we also need to understand their reality. But what I wanted to add here, while we're talking about the recruitment process, and I think one thing that I would change, and the question was what we would change, right, in
Tech industry.
the tech industry.
To improve your community or would benefit your community.
I would. Is my time up? I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't have time. So I would totally work on the salaries, and this is not something just to deal with our community. I think it's across the country. We have so much fantastic talent slipping away because people find remote jobs or move to other places. And we have a lot of wonderful people here who would be lovely to keep, they would be really valuable in the local community. However, every time you apply for a job, right, it quite quickly there comes a question as to what are your job expectations. And my personal experience has been, having worked for a while remotely for a UK-based company, I always wonder how much lower should I go to be even considered for the next steps, you to kind of try to adapt those things. I think that transparency around salaries is definitely something really important, and I think that this is something that should be mentioned during the, while the job ad is published. There should not be hiding of salaries, of the range of salaries, because this is something you either go for it or you don't, right? But this kind of negotiation marketplace where the company tries to get the best talent for the lowest possible price is something that I don't personally find a fair practice. And so I really vouch for better practice. I think we can do better in this space.
Oh, thanks. Sorry for this again. My next question is for all of us here, so the panel and everyone that kindly attended. We talked a lot about how communities are inspiring now on a very positive note. And do you reckon that communities such as yours could be the solution for a sustainable future for businesses? Who wants to go ahead? And now it's open to all of you. For us to kick off hear a bit of a dialogue with the panel.
Hello? I'll go in just because I want to use the mic.
You know how to use it. Like me.
I don't know about sustainability. I would say that it's core to the ecosystem to have communities pushing the boundaries of the people and knowing about the types of work that exists, discrepancies that exist. So I would say that it's really about us pushing the boundaries of actually knowing each other and working together, and towards having like a common goal of at least knowledge sharing. So I would say, thank you.
I also want to share that today is National Equal Pay Day. Um, and I think today there were shared the some data was shared on how much women earn less than men. But I would dare to say that in tech, the gap is even bigger than the national numbers. A bit of maybe we need more of these communities because there is no transparency. Like Anna said, there's no transparency on the salary bands when you apply for jobs. And once you get to the first or at some point in the recruitment process, you get to the recruiter and the recruiter asks you, so what is your expectation regarding salary? And you're like, I don't know. And the salary bands are very different from city to city, we have to say, even in Portugal. But being asked this and not knowing, being totally off guard and not knowing what to ask is really a problem, and especially for women. And so women, in the end, I think these communities empower women in knowing and sharing the salary bands, like, and this is something that happens in our community. Like, I got to a recruiting process, and the recruiter asked me what was my expectation, and I didn't know what to say. And people were like, "Okay, how many years do you have? How many are you in? And how many years of experience do you have? Where are you based?" And we start all like saying, "You should ask this or you should ask that," because not having that transparency, women tend to value themselves lower, and so they would ask less. And in the end, they get less, right? Because they don't bargain, because they get what they offer them. If they ask for 10 and the recruiter says 10 is fine, and then they're fine with 10. And this is something we asked within the community. How many times have you bargained for a better salary right at the start? And most of the women didn't negotiate. They just accepted what they got. And this creates a head start in a different level with men or with others, even in the same position within the company, because you ask less and it will take you longer to get the same salary of a person that starts at the same time from you, but asked more, that negotiated and asked for more. And normally these conversations, we also have to normalize this type of conversations in the workplace, that within our peers, we also are open enough to ask, how much do you earn in your position? Like I've had that conversation with a colleague doing the same job I was doing a couple of years ago. And we were both very open, both working remote in Portugal, doing the same job. I said, yeah, I negotiated. And so it was like earning 15K more than I was like, so exactly. So these communities also can also create this toughness and of like normalizing that talking about salaries should happen, negotiation should happen, and also this also would create cultures, working cultures that are more open, that can evolve and in some sense also combat other issues that will also come into place, especially in technology that Luis was mentioning. Ageism in technology is a thing and will become a very difficult thing in the next decade or so, because we really don't embrace older people, even older people that always did a career in tech. They get to their 50s and yeah, it's hard. So
No worries. I just wanted to say that the communities, and for sure, I don't know for sure if there's any company here present, but from the talks that I have with companies that wanted to move here, one of the relevant aspects for them was the community, the ecosystem. How developed was, how many communities were here, created by people from here. So I guess companies could give a little bit more value to this because in the end is really important for to gather investment and together and to have a better economy. So I would say that yes, it's very good for the companies and especially the ones that are coming really look at this with another eyes.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I have a question. First of all, I just wanted to say that for me, communities have a huge impact in society. And speaking about me, that I'm only a 21-year-old that started working like 3 months ago, having a community and being around with people that actually know so much, it makes such a sustainable growth for us. And I believe that for the not older people.
The older people.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And the question that I have for you is that how do you think that AI will change the skills that are required for tech professionals? And how can your tech communities have an impact on that?
I can start. So thinking more about coding, programming, we will see a shift in the. No, on a short term, AI is not going to replace software engineers. They will give them a boost, right? They will make them more efficient. They're making them more. They'll make them faster. If you look at the backlog of every company, there's an infinite amount of stuff that we still need to do. Like, so if we can do more with the talent that we have, it will be great. If you use stuff like Copilot and Claude and whatever, you will see that it will not solve your problem, right? So it won't. It will give you help. So, but that also means that you have to upskill yourself, right? So how do I use these things? So there will be an upskill process that a lot of our engineers will need to start relying more on these assistants that will start to automate some of the more simpler tasks. Let's put it this way. It could start giving you ideas on how to solve small stuff, but like the big architectural decisions, the big things, we will still need a human. But yes, the engineers will still have to have a lot of this critical mindset because the AI is still going to get some time until maybe someday it will completely replace software engineers, but not in the near future.
Yeah, I don't have a particular question, but I just want to thank you for today meetup. Because from perspective who's coming from different country, who is not European, it's for us it's very important to have a community. I started in Vienna and I used to be in a lot of student community who work with the companies. So most of the times they really value because you can connect with the students, you can bring more students toward engineering. I'm studying electrical engineering, so I understand the problem of women in STEAM. Since in the class of 30 students, I will be two women, one and another colleague. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for the valuable insights, especially for recruitment process. I'm looking now for internships in Portugal. It is not easy, especially when, for example, I went to University of Engineering Porto. I talked with a lot of HRs. They were very open, very nice people, gave me emails. 3 weeks later, still no replies. I'm just, I'm happy it's not only me. It's not only my CV is that bad that no one replies. So I think I will connect with you to ask you maybe more insight of how to get into the job market in Portugal, because I see how it's developing now. There's so many manufacturers, so many companies. So thank you very much. And thank you, you guys, for organizing everything.
It's on. I'll scoop in now. So our time is ending. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you to our panel here. I ask for a big round of applause to everyone here. I just want to finish by making two quick questions. So, from the audience, who's here part of a community? Raise your hand. 30 to 40%. Okay. From the rest, who's maybe interested to joining a community? You are already in one. That's not fair. But that's amazing. Yeah, you can join. You can have multiple. But that's very good because, and I'm picking a little bit of what Vanya said, we are not here for the money. We are here because we are changing the world around us. And one small step here can have an infinite impact. So after this, we'll have a networking session. We are going to Hot Trip. So just stay around, stay together. We'll all walk there, 5 minutes walking, not much. And let's talk, let's have fun.